Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and I want to show you how you can easily install the Bimmertech subwoofers into your gorgeous BMW G80. All right guys, let's talk about this project a little bit here before we do it, and I'm really looking forward to doing this install because one of the few weak spots in the brand new G80 series from BMW really is the audio system. They're reusing the same HKs that you've seen throughout, the last couple of generations of BMWs, and they're good, maybe okay to good, but they're not great. And when you have a car this fantastic, you really should have a sound system to match. So let's add a little boom to the power of this car. We're gonna be adding these Bimmertech subwoofers. It's really not hard, it only takes a few simple tools and a little bit of time, and I wanna walk you through the whole process. All right guys, so let's take a look. I'm only gonna do this once because the process is gonna be the same on both sides. So when we look at this, and I'm gonna say this probably multiple times through the install, do not unplug your seats. And I mean the cable that comes up out of the floor and plugs into your seats. That can give you airbag warnings and all kinds of different things because we're not unplugging the battery. One of the reasons why we're not doing that is so we can run the seats forward and back. It's really hard to do without power. So run the seats back as far as they'll go. You have two T45 bolts here and here in the front. Run your seat back all the way forward and take the two out of the back. What I will usually do at that point is I'll put the seat in about a middle position and slide the whole seat back into the back seat. You don't need to take it out. You don't need to unplug it. Don't do anything like that. Then you'll have your cover, because you can see your subwoofer right here. It's got some T20s holding it down, but let me go ahead and take those bolts out and I'm going to show you rocking the seat back. All right guys, so I actually think I said T45 a second ago. It's a T55 for the bolts here holding down the seat. So the seat's now loose and it's just sliding on the rails. So you just basically want to take it and slide it into the back seat area, and you can tip it all the way back, and then you can get easy access to the cover. So let me rearrange my camera and we'll see exactly where the sub is, and the T20 is to take that cover out. All right, now that the seat is rocked back, you can easily see the sub cover here on the passenger side. You've just got 4 T20 screws that hold it down. So go ahead and take all 4 of those out. Go ahead and lift this cover and set it aside. And then we'll take a look at the sub itself. All right, so now that you have the screen off, you can start to lift your carpet. And you're gonna see 4 silver T20 metal screws here, basically on each corner. As you lift the carpet, you'll see those screws. Now, here's where you're gonna get into one of 2 situations, depending on what BMW decided to do. Sometimes your subs are held down only by those screws. You pull all those 4 screws and the plug for the sub right here, which I'll show here in a second, a little in greater detail. You pull that, bang, the sub comes right out. Or BMW decided to glue your sub down entirely, which if that is the case, then this entire box is going to have to come out, and it really depends on which car. So I'm going to take those 4 screws out. I'm going to show you taking the plug out here just in a second. It's really simple, but I just want to make sure you have a good camera view, and then we're going to see if we have to deal with glued down subs. All right guys, let me pull back the carpet a little bit, take a look. So you've got a little locking tab right here that you depress, and then this plug will come out. Now, I'm already giving a bit of a preview, huh? You can see the sub is loose. Now, in this case, got really lucky. The sub is not glued down, so you can see it'll come right out, and we'll just take the new one and slip it right into place, which makes your installation a lot easier, to put it mildly. But I did want to give a little bit of information in case you end up with glued in subs. I don't know why sometimes BMW does or doesn't do this. I've seen it even on the same model of cars where sometimes they're glued in and sometimes they're not. But I'm not going to simulate these being glued in, obviously, when they're not going to be, and I hope for you that they're not. Now, if you're following these instructions and you end up with glued in subs, you're going to see some 10mm right there. Okay, some 10mm nuts. Those are holding down the box that the sub is sitting in. You take those out, and then you can lift your carpet. You'd have to pull it out from underneath the edge of your trim here, pull this edge out, which I'm not going to do in this case. Then the whole box will come out. So once you take the entire box out, at that point, the whole box, because the sub is sitting into basically this plastic shell. You pull the entire plastic shell out, and you're gonna have to find and work your exposed edges to cut the glue away to be able to get the sub out. Like I said, in this case, we've gotten really, really lucky. They're not glued down, as you can see, and all you have to do is just unplug it and slip the new one in. So let me get this one unplugged, and we're gonna slip the new one into place. All right guys, so now that it's out, as you can see, really easy. You can see the difference between the two with the brand new one sitting here. So not only in structure difference, but if you very gently feel the material, there's quite a bit of build quality difference between these. Like I said, the HKs are okay. I mean, somewhere between okay and good. These are great. These have given me a new appreciation of music with these installed. So really simple work now. So go ahead and just take it, just line it up right back in the same way that it was before, fit it down into the box. Now also, you could potentially just reuse the same 4 T20s, but also Bimmertech does decide to include some of their own, so I just go ahead and always use theirs. So you're going to end up with some screws left over by the time you're done. So fit this down underneath the carpet, back down into the box, which I'm kind of doing with one hand here right at the moment, and then put those 4 in, and then put the cover back on and put those 4 T20s back in, and then we're going to be bolting the seat back down. All right, so just easily back in place. You use the 4 screws that were provided by Bimmertech, and they're Phillips instead of T20s. Like I said, if they provide them, they must have a reason, so I always go ahead and use them. You know, it's plugged back in here, it just snaps back into place. You just fit it in, put those screws in, and you're good to go. At that point, you just fit the carpet back on. The cover, you just take and just lay back into place, and then you're going to put those 4 T20s that you took out back in, secure it down to make sure it doesn't rattle or anything, and then go ahead and lay your seat back down. And then at this point, we're going to be lining up and putting our seat bolts back in, which is really, really simple. And I'll probably say this a couple of times, but while we're here, whenever I put these bolts back in, 1, I always make sure the threads are clean. 2, when I put them in, I always, imagine the seats here, I always just hand thread them into place really gently all the way around first, before I torque them down and tighten them down, okay? So, just a couple of things to think about, but let's not jump ahead too much. Go ahead and get your cover re-secure, lay your seat back down into place, and then we'll put those bolts in and torque them down. All right, here we are looking at the back seats. I've got all 4 bolts in of these T50s, and basically what you do is you just take them and hand thread them into place, because that way you make sure that they go in straight. For whatever reason, I've seen these bolts be a little tricky sometimes when they shouldn't be. Okay, so go ahead and get all 4 in, and then just gently tighten them down so the seat is centered and in the right place. And then you're 42 Newton meters on a torque wrench to torque down all 4, and you're done. It really is that simple. All right, guys, all done. And as you can tell, this is a really simple project just to do on both sides. It makes a tremendous difference in your car. And you know, if you can maybe adding a little boom to your Zoom. I know, it's cheesy, but it really improves the sound quality to a car that really is just tremendous and brings everything about your sound up to match that level. So thank you so much to Bimmertech for making these fantastic products and making them so easy to work with. I don't see any reason why you couldn't do this yourself at home with a few simple tools. Please make sure to click subscribe and the little alarm bell. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I really appreciate it, as I have a ton of projects coming this year and I can't wait to bring them to you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next video.